Your Houston Morning News with Matt Patrick continues.
KTRH News Time is 7:16. Joining us right now is Kellie Armstrong. She's the director of Freedom Place. Kellie, welcome to Houston's Morning News. Great to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
Kellie, I've been doing a lot of reading on this, and it is frightening. Slavery still exists here in Houston, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Tell me about the course of 48 hours. Child leaves their home, and they're on the street. What happens typically?
Well, there's these predators, pimps, who are on the street that are specifically looking for young, vulnerable girls because they can make them a lot of money, basically. And so they will just reach out to these girls, promise them lots of love, develop a relationship with them, and then basically have them under their control and are using them and abusing them.
Now, Kellie, we typically think that these are young girls coming in from Mexico or coming in through Mexico from places like Laos, Vietnam, other Asian countries. But this could also hold true for someone that just, a teenager here in Houston that just decides, I'm mad at mom and dad and I'm leaving, or they just leave the home, correct?
Right. Actually, we have more American children being sold on a daily basis than we have international victims that are here in the United States.
That is amazing to me. Now, what happens once they're out on the street? Can they get loose? I mean, is it difficult to get away from these pimps, these situations that they find themselves in once they've been in this sex slave industry?
Oh, yeah, they're totally under their control. I mean, the pimps, they control everything that they do, where they go, the money they get, the food they get, the clothing that they have. They're always being watched constantly, so it is very, very difficult. And even if they are out by themselves, there's that psychological control that I am going to kill you if I find you. Or, worse to one of the girls is, I'm going to kill one of your family members.
So, Kellie, how do you plan to find these girls and bring them to a place of safety? Do they have to find you, or will you go out and find them?
Actually, we're part of a larger task force here in Houston that is made up of FBI and local law enforcement, and they rescue the girls. Once they're rescued, they bring them to us.
Kellie, let me ask you this question. What's the youngest girl you've seen sold into sex slavery?
I have heard of girls as young as 6 and 7 years old. The average entry is 13 years of age. And that's the average. So there's young girls, unfortunately I've talked to some, and they've seen, 10, 11-year-old girls working the streets. And a lot of times, unfortunately, they are sold by their parents as well.
Wow. Kellie, listen, hang on. When we come back, let's talk about Freedom Place. Thank God you've put this together. Let's talk about what we can do to help Freedom Place, what we can do to continue to try and get some of these kids off the street and into a safe place. Kellie, I got to tell you, this is just a topic that just makes me shudder. I have 2 daughters. And so what can we do to help you with Freedom Place, these young girls that find themselves in the sex slave trade and being held against their will? How can we help you?
Well, the first thing is just, like you said, you have 2 daughters, is talk to your daughters and make them aware that this does exist. And everyone is vulnerable. You may live in suburbia and may not think that your girls are at risk of this, but they certainly are. I mean, unfortunately, girls are abducted by someone who poses to be their friend over Facebook or some other media outlet, and our girls just need to be aware that this exists and prepared if someone approaches them. But for Freedom Place, we are very close to opening our doors. We, right now, are in need of lots of volunteers to come out and to get things organized. It is a very costly program, so it's 100% funded by charity dollars. Believe it or not, there is no funding stream available to provide support for these girls. And we'll need mentors who will go through our very intensive training program who want to make an impact on these girls' lives.
So, Kellie, that's what I wanted to ask. What are you offering them so that they will have a different direction when they leave Freedom House?
Sure. This is a very comprehensive program. The girls will get complete medical care, psychological, psychiatric care if they need that, but there will be intensive counseling to help heal them through the traumas that they have experienced. We'll also provide education on site. Many of the girls have huge gaps in their education because they have been out in the streets or have just been away from school. So we have education on site to catch them up to where they need to be. We'll have daily life skills and just opportunities for them to be able to be employed when they leave us so they can be self-sufficient.
Kellie, quickly, give me a website that people can go to. I know I was looking at it, but go ahead and tell our audience what the website is.
Sure, it's www.freedomplaceus.org.
Kellie Armstrong, God bless you. May God give you strength. Continue your good work. She's the director of Freedom Place. Keep in touch with us, Kellie. Thank you.
Thank you so much.